Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Marie Falbo. Today, we're featuring two inspiring organizations that are helping people reach their full potential through opportunity and community support. We'll learn how one nonprofit is empowering young wrestlers to succeed both on and off the mat. And we'll meet another organization dedicated to creating greater inclusion and resources for individuals with autism and their families. But first, we're joined by Elaine Murtaugh, founder and CEO of Matt Angels, along with strategic advisor Anthony Curlow, to discuss how their organization is removing barriers for student athletes while building character, leadership, and confidence that exceeds far beyond the sport of wrestling. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much.
Well, we have to shout out our dear friend,
yes,
Ray Salerno, who was supposed to be here today.
Sure.
He's the one that brought us together. We love Ray, the kindest heart in the Garden State between everything he's doing with you and the Columbian Foundation and so many other charities and worthy causes. So need to shout out our good friend Ray.
Thank you. Ray's a special individual.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
And his mother will love the shout out too.
That's right.
To see him.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Very important.
He was the one that introduced me to Matt Angels, and I love the concept because I'm from East Hanover. We were talking off camera. East Hanover is a big wrestling town, so immediately that caught my attention. Tell us about Matt Angels and what it is.
So Matt Angels supports high potential youth wrestlers, 12 to 19 years old, we call it middle school through early collegiate, who face financial and structural barriers that prevent them from continuing their athletic journey. Specifically, what we have is a discipline support framework where we assist those wrestlers in 5 areas: competition access, nutrition and performance sustainability, wrestling mindset. We get into disciplined areas that help those wrestlers along their journey.
What made you start this?
It was really Ellie who started this.
Yeah, I did. And it really came from our son's a wrestler, and he loved the sport the first year. As I mentioned to you, lots of crying in wrestling, but he really, fell in love with it. And he was at a particular school, and they had another team come in from an area. And all these young wrestlers, fantastic, very talented. They were sharing 4 pairs of shoes, 1 headgear. And we looked at that right away and said, gosh, we need to help the team, but we need to do it in a very dignified way, because that's what one of our platforms at Matt Angels is really about, that giving dignity to families when they need it the most. So we had them come back, we bought them gear, we contacted the coach, bought them gear, we had a pizza party and made it more about, you guys are fantastic and you deserve this. And that kind of spawned the idea of how can we help wrestlers? But at that point, it wasn't really much about gear, it was more about being able to help the wrestlers when they are actually great athletes already, right? They're great wrestlers, but they need to be able to get to competition, as Anthony mentioned. That gets them obviously, notoriety from coaches and gets their ratings up. And so then that gives them opportunity to be able to go into fantastic schools that give scholarships. So that's where we really found the need there at that point, where it wasn't really necessary. And that's where I started. I said, Beat the Streets is a fantastic organization. They bring wrestlers into the wrestling community. Where we're able to partner with them is take those fantastic wrestlers that need the opportunity to be able to go on that trajectory, the next level, and be able to help them with that.
How do you raise money to buy all the supplies and underwrite all of this?
Right. So we actually have partners for each pillar that we have. We also have an ambassador program, and our ambassadors are really what make this organization incredible. Our ambassadors are young wrestlers themselves that volunteer their time to become ambassadors with us. They do clinics, they raise money, so they themselves are actually a great resource for us, because they know themselves what it's like to not be able to get to competition. So the nutritional part of it is really, really important. So we want to be able to offer that to wrestlers who wouldn't normally have that opportunity to be able to work with a nutritionist. And we make it simple, very, very easy. So our partners really help us with that. And of course, we have obviously our Founder Circle, which are large donors, which are wonderful. And
so it ranges from individual donors, which could be parents, and folks that are philanthropic that want to help assist as individually. We have corporate sponsors, and then we have what we call Founder Circle. And those Founder Circles are folks that there's various dollar figures that the individuals, you can donate as little as $100 to $2,500 as an individual. The corporate sponsors, $2,500 to $10,000, and then the Founder Circle, $10,000 north of $100,000. So we have high net worth individuals, folks that give back to the wrestling community, folks that are just generally philanthropic. Both Ellie and I have made a mid-six-figure investment over a 7-month period that we built out the platform. The platform is very enriched from an infrastructure standpoint in terms of the investment that upon launch that allows us to bring this forth in a scalable way. This is not just a local, regional opportunity from a nonprofit standpoint to help support these wrestlers as we described, but it allows us a national movement. And it's something that we're doing just that. We're only a month and a half in, but we've seen tremendous success in a short period of time.
All of this has been accomplished in only a month and
So
a
it's a
half?
7-month build out, but upon launch, we launched right around shortly after Memorial Day.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
We have at this point just over 60 ambassadors that are signed up. We expect to cap that at 100. Of the 60, we release one per day. We produce a digital player card on social, so we're on all aspects of social. Building out that platform, and we're doing that in recognition of the ambassadors with the digital player card. So we're having some fun with that. To be an ambassador, it's not so much about being an elite wrestler. That's important, but it's about the character, it's the servant leader, it's those folks in the community that want to give back and that have had that opportunity granted to them. Doesn't mean that you're an elite wrestler or an elite high net worth individual. It's folks that have helped you along your way, and now it's an opportunity to give back.
Can you dive in more into those 5 pillars and what they entail?
Oh, sure. Yes. So the competition and access, that's really about being able to get to competition. It's so important. So in order to be able to get, recognition, as we said, from coaches and get ranked as in a certain way, you have to get that recognition. Otherwise, you stay local, and then you're also not able to compete at a high level. You're not able to compete with other wrestlers that really are making you better. So we actually provide access to families if they need to go to a trip. It's expensive, really expensive to go. A lot of times, parents just can't afford it. So we provide airfare. We pay directly, so the parents are never out of pocket with any type of expenses whatsoever. And then hotels, we pay for that directly, which is fantastic. And then on the nutrition side of things, which is really important, we partner with other partners that actually are nationwide. So they will help any wrestler that reaches out that needs help with nutrition. We make that available. They work directly with the partners, and if they're under the age of obviously 18, we get their parents' consent or guardian as well too, which is really, really important. But that's really a major component to wrestling. I mean, it really is.
People don't realize, yes, sports nutrition is important, but wrestling has a whole other layer to that where it does get dangerous.
It really is. When you think of the support from middle school through early collegiate, a lot of the middle school kids, as they get into high school, don't know a lot about nutrition. They profess to be. Dad, no problem, I can cut weight. And this is female wrestling as well as male, and it's important to draw that distinction because we have as many female ambassadors that we're bringing on as well as male, and the sport of female wrestling is the fastest growth in the nation right now. So as we get into that, it is dangerous if you don't know and don't understand proper nutrition. There's not a lot behind it, but once you do, it's how you manage and maintain. It's not about putting on weight or just cutting weight. It's how you maintain off season as well as during the season on that. So Elaine touched upon 2, but then we get into academic continuity. So what that is when you're missing class for major tournaments, the demand of wrestling is now turned into, you're wrestling 12 months out of the year at the level that we're talking about. So these kids are traveling. I know I was in Fargo, I was at the US Open in Las Vegas, we're at Kalahari out in PA, we're down in Florida, we're at Virginia Beach, we're all over the country out in different states. So the expense associated with that becomes very significant, but from a continuity standpoint during the season, when you're missing school, what are you doing with education? So from a tutoring standpoint, we bring that forth as well. One of the other areas, the 4th area, is injury prevention and recovery, which is really important as well. The grind and the grueling season that you go through and to become an elite athlete, kids are banged up. It's a grind. So we partner with different organizations regionally and some that have national offerings on that to help with just the injury prevention to offset that. That could be cupping, that could be red light therapy, that could be chiro, that could be cryo, as well as just other forms therein. Our son wrestles for Blair Academy. It's an elite program up in Blairstown. This is not just about elite wrestlers and elite programs, but it's important to note, even at a program like Blair, there's limitations in terms of what they offer. So we extend outside of Blair to offer these services to those kids and others within that. Wrestling mindset is the 5th pillar, and mindset, like anything else, if you go in, wrestling's a martial art. It's a very challenging, difficult sport. I don't care. As a parent, you still have butterflies when your son or daughter goes out to perform on the big stage. Early on, we look to put our son just in that capacity, to put him out there, to let him know that here's where you're going to be, right? So to be comfortable. But you have to learn to become comfortable in an uncomfortable manner. So with that, with Wrestling Mindset, we partnered with them. They're here in New Jersey in the Edison area, and they're fantastic. They offer a program on a national level for schools, for individuals, in terms of how to deal with this, how to prepare, which is really important in terms of individuals and their ability to perform.
How do you support the parents while they support their kids?
Within the ambassador program, we have athlete ambassadors, and then we have community ambassadors. And the community ambassadors are just that, they're parents. And we have group text strings, we have group messaging that we put together, and we're constantly communicating with the parents of those athletes as to how to navigate those waters. Because it doesn't matter, from wrestling to gymnastics to cheer to all these other sports, they're all very expensive. Most parents are blue-collar parents, and it's very difficult for them because they can't be there. Fortunately, within the world of wrestling, there's what's called flow wrestling, and then there's USA bracketing and other forms that you can actually watch as a parent while your son is on the big stage in Las Vegas, Virginia Beach, Fargo, any of these other events. But it's difficult because as a parent, you're watching your son or daughter on TV. You're not there in the room. So the anxiety is a little different in terms of how you manage that.
Where can people find out more and to support?
Well, matangels.org is our website, and you can go on there and make a donation, which would be great. We love that.
And on the website, you'll see there's various radio buttons to become an ambassador, nominate an athlete, partner with us. There's radio buttons on each and every page that really makes it really easy to navigate. A donate button as well, or you can do matangels.org/give, or you can text to 50155 Matt Angels to help as well.
Yeah, amazing. Well, so nice to meet you. What a pleasure.
Thank
and
you.
best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Our next guest believes that every individual deserves the opportunity to thrive, and he's working to make that a reality for families across the state. Joining us now is Keith Green, founder of the Autism MVP Foundation. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We got to shout out my alma mater, Montclair State University. We met at an event with President Coppell about the state of media right before they were awarded NJPBS, and we got talking about autism, and you told me about this foundation, and I immediately invited you to the show, so thank you for coming to visit me.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
So tell us about the foundation.
So the foundation was started in 2015, and I was inspired by, my whole family was inspired by the many educators and therapists who helped my son, who was diagnosed at the age of 3, really progress to the point where he graduated high school. He's now working part-time at the Gap. And when he was diagnosed, it was a little bit of a scary world. At that time, there weren't a ton of resources, right? Sure, there were books and there were a few online resources, but there weren't enough therapies available. Schools were not as up to speed on autism's prevalence and having resources in the school. And as a family, we quickly found out about those hindrances. So over time, as we started to meet the right people, get our son into a different school district, and see the improvements that he made through these very skilled and specialized therapists, it occurred to me at some point, like, how could I give back to a community of people that gave my family so much? There's not exactly a roadmap. Every child is different, of course, and every child with autism is different. The skills and the patience that you learn from people who are ABA therapists and speech therapists and occupational therapists, it's quite amazing.
A special group of people beyond, I mean, I shared with you off camera, I'm in that world right now, and I am just amazed at their skill level and their ability to relate and the patience. It's incredible.
It is, and you also have to, as a parent, check your ego at the door, we found, right? Because you feel at times like, I'm the parent, I'm the dad, I'm the mom. I should be doing that, right? But the ABA therapists in particular are extremely skilled at what they do. And for them to be able to help your child grow and develop in ways that sometimes you can't imagine is something that you can't put a price on. So again, I was thinking, how could I give back? And scholarship and education has always been an important part of my life. And it just hit me one day. There's this huge shortage of therapists when you weigh that against the autism diagnosis rate. So that's why I started the foundation.
So you give scholarships to students looking to get into the field?
Correct, and we specifically work with programs that have graduate students. So we feel at that point, hopefully they are committed to working in these different fields, specifically ABA, or for your viewers, applied behavior analysis, who want to work with either children or adults that are on the spectrum. It's a very rewarding endeavor, and it's terrific to see how it's grown.
How do you raise funds to fund the scholarships?
Bunch of different ways. Normally through the course of events, we hold a handful of events every year. We also have the support of businesses in our community, a few in particular, Central Reach and Circle Hyundai, Circle BMW. Leggett's hosts our walk every year down at the beach in Manasquan. So we have ongoing supporters that have been tremendous to us, that above and beyond the folks that come to our events, they support us to help things move along.
What does MVP stand for?
Oh, that's a great question. So when I first started this, I wanted to find a name that was different and then people would remember. I think when you are in your marketing, branding, communications, you want to have something that people just, it will resonate with them, whatever. And everybody knows what MVP stands for generally, most valuable player in sort of sports vernacular, which is a lot of my background. But when I started sort of sketching the outline of what this might look like, the idea of most valuable prospective professional or prospective student, those things immediately sort of came to mind. It's a formula that's worked for us. The name resonates with people. It makes it easy for us to tell our story and what our mission is, which quite simply is to increase the workforce of autism-focused educators and therapists.
How many students have you put through school over the
So
years?
we've awarded more than 36 scholarships now in 10 years and have granted more than $300,000 total in endowed scholarship funds at Rutgers University and Monmouth University here in New Jersey, and also Temple University in Philadelphia, where I went to school.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
Just
thanks.
one family doing this grassroots work, and I'm sure the students are so appreciative.
They are, and it's extremely meaningful when our board members are able to meet them. Most often they come into our events to say thank you. They bring their families who are also deeply appreciative. So it's just not me and my family that are working on this project. We have this amazing group of dedicated board of trustee and advisory board members who are all volunteers, that make this thing go.
It's super important because autism has never been higher in New Jersey. It's like 1 in 30 boys.
1 in 29 in New Jersey, 1 in 31 nationally in New Jersey has the second highest autism diagnosis rate.
Why do you think that is?
It's a good question. I think it's a number of things. I think people started to quickly understand, maybe 15, 20 years ago that there are resources here. So people did move here purposely because of those resources. I think that's one thing. I think that we are getting better as a community, if you will, of diagnosing autism. Also, it's called a spectrum for a reason. And I don't necessarily agree with the way that it is laid out right now, so to speak.
How is it laid out?
Well, it's a little complicated, but what I will tell you sort of from a brief overview perspective is that I don't think that someone who needs 24/7 care and is diagnosed with autism should be diagnosed in the same way that somebody who has Asperger's and is extremely high functioning, and if you sat in a room with them, you might not know that they were on the spectrum. And then you have somebody like my son who's somewhere in the middle. He's talkative, he can have a conversation with you, he graduated high school, he's got a part-time job at the Gap, but he's different, right? And different is great, different is okay. But I don't think all of those people should be classified together. I don't think that makes a lot of sense.
And when you get that diagnosis, what's also scary, and this is where your foundation comes in, then what? Where do you get the help? Because that help it's not like it's, falling off of trees in your
Right.
neighborhood. You have to dig in and do the research.
Right. I think the great thing about the autism community, even though there are people that feel differently about different aspects of it, is that it is just that. It's a community. So there are tremendous resources here in New Jersey. The folks at Autism New Jersey are terrific. They have a hotline that you can call if you have a child that was just diagnosed, or a loved one, or whatever it is. And they're wonderful people. They actually also work with the state, and they receive, I think, grants and funds from the states to do a lot of their programming. So that is a terrific resource. And then obviously finding a good primary doctor. I think if I could give any advice, is just to keep, if you feel something's delayed or a little off, don't hesitate, and B, keep asking questions of your doctor or your therapist, even if you think the answer is, nothing's quote unquote wrong. We were told that quite a bit. And we just felt he's delayed, but let's find out why. So we kept asking questions, and then eventually went to a neurologist who gave a diagnosis. And to your point, it's a little concerning, but you find your resources, you find your way. There's government help available as well.
Which, thank God, there is, because it's very expensive to go private with a lot of these different services. Speech, OT, ABA.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, when Gavin was diagnosed, ABA was not even covered under mainstream health insurance, to give you an idea of how far things have come in a good way. A lot of teaching through doing and repetition. There's a lot of reward systems that are in place for certain behaviors. It's challenging sometimes to find the right therapist too. So that's the other thing that I think makes our foundation and what we do important, in that not only are there not enough of these skilled therapists, like you have to find the right fit for your child and your family, just like you would any sort of other doctor or a person who has a medical specialty along those lines.
I think the good news is, once you have your team, and if you start early enough, I'm not going to say you can cure autism,
Right.
but you can get these kids over the hump.
You certainly can. And all these things that we've talked about, the ABA, the speech, the OT, the PT, all these things can certainly play a factor. I also encourage people to look at other therapies that they think may be helpful, right? Some of them are controversial, some are more mainstream.
Well, diet is huge.
Diet is absolutely huge, right? We talked about this a little bit before we came on camera here, right? My son they're on gluten-free diets. So there are certain things, there's research that shows that if they abstain from either dairy or gluten or whatnot, that it can be helpful, because there is this strong connection they're finding between the gut and the brain. Yeah. And if you do things to mitigate some of those factors, it can certainly help with those other things, speech and whatnot.
Speaking of connection, do you stay in touch with your scholarship recipients?
We do. It's always wonderful to see how they're progressing in the field. And like I said, we invite the winners, each fall, each spring to our events to really get to know them, find out what their career goals are, find out what they have plans, and what's their inspiration? Why did they get into this? And quite often it's either a family member or a neighbor or somebody that they knew was on the spectrum. And, obviously these are empathetic, amazing people. And they're like, what, I think I want to make a career out of this.
Absolutely love and adore that you took this diagnosis, you took such good care of your son, and now just paying it forward in such a big way.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a rewarding experience, but like I said before, it's not something that I've done alone or my family's done alone. Through the help of many people and organizations, it's just been a terrific endeavor.
It takes a village.
It does.
Where can people find out more and to support?
Thank you. So if you're interested in supporting our foundation in any way, and what I mean by that is, sure, financial donations are great, corporate donations are great, but if you're interested in being an advisory board member or even a member of our board of trustees, we're always interested in having people who have skill sets in all areas of business. Everything from social media to law, to people who might know insurance, fundraising, anything like that. So autismmvp.org is the best way to find us.
All right, well, I hope our viewers check that out. And Keith, thank you so much for coming on here. Go Montclair State.
That's right.
They always bring us the best guests.
Thank you very much. It's been great to spend time with you.
Yes, and best of luck to you in your journey moving forward.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.